women.
Those Hollywood elite women are not credible. You can't be, calling out, oh, you were sexually harassed by, Weinstein, blah, 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 while you're turning around and not saying a thing about it until 10 years later.
Right. Some people are pointing that out too on the.
You're talking about it 10 years later, but what have you done in the meantime? You promoted policies that further criminalized our occupation and our activities and hinged upon our constitutional rights under the guise of rescuing somebody who's being sexually assaulted. You're just trying to rescue yourself. That's all these elite women are trying to do. They're displacing who it is that they have been trying to rescue.
That's right.
And it's resulted in us being sexually assaulted and sex trafficking victims being sexually assaulted by cops. And it's been resulted in the sex trafficking victims being charged with being sex traffickers and, doing gobs of time in prison, years and years in prison because of their bad policies that they've been in front of Congress and the state legislatures promoting. All the whole time they've been suffering under their own, sexual assault, their unhealed sexual assault because of their careers. Because you let your career be derailed by some asshole. So now you're going to come and derail my career under the guise of saving me. You're ridiculous. It's not credible. And they need to take responsibility, for what they've done. That's what they need to do. And they need to make some reparations specifically to our community.
Yeah, Meryl Streep gave $500,000 or something like that over to it, and I just thought, yeah, of course, every one of them, Alyssa Milano, all what's her face, Ashley Judd, all of these.
That Ashley Judd is a piece of shit. How dare her, be making all of her imaginary, fiction movies. Traumatizing all of her actors. I mean, did you see that article come out where she traumatized all the actors, trying to force them into these, pseudo rape scenes that they didn't really sign up for, wasn't negotiated for in their contract? Talk about forced labor, Ashley, trying to make her imaginary interpretation of our business that further stigmatizes our business. And the people in our business, that's just a white and entitled, woman stepping on the lower classes. That's all that movie's about. Now she's whining about, being sexually harassed and, whatever, because you didn't take the right action to deal with your own harasser in your own life. And you're going to come place your imaginary shit off onto us. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
She needs to pay. She needs to be handed over some thousands of dollars to our particular nonprofit.
Millions, actually. Come on.
Whatever. She's a piece of shit. That Ashley Judd is a piece of shit. And just like all those other women who've been involved in making those movies. I remember in 2005 when that, what's her name, she went and made this movie, this Lifetime movie for women, and it was all about sex trafficking, and she got the Amnesty International to,
Melissa, or whatever.
No. Her name begins with the M. Whatever.
Yeah, it's, she used to be married to, God dang it. I know who you're talking about.
In 2005, with Amnesty International, promoting this idea of having, everybody get together in their house and watch this Lifetime for Women show about this fake sex trafficking thing that these Hollywood people had concocted. And, that resulted in the explosion of all this more bad legislation against us. Gave the police more powers to sexually assault us on our jobs and get away with it and not have any access to any recourse about it. I mean, it's just irresponsible what that Hollywood elite class of women have done. It's just completely irresponsible. And for them to be on their timeout hashtag, it's just part of their lily white and entitled, Hollywood elite bullshit of not taking responsibility to address the damage that they have done to our community, and they need to take responsibility for it. Because believe me, when this trial comes out, the trial of the century is going to happen in 2018. These fucking bitches and all their shit is going to be named and exposed as part of it. Believe that.
Fuck yeah.
It's about time. It's about time. I mean, what they say, that's the chickens come home to roost. That's what that is.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was my first thought. It was like, okay, they've been projecting their trauma on us.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. You know, as soon as the Weinstein stuff came out, it was like, oh, okay. You know.
Yeah, we have no power. You know, we don't have any power to push back against their, you know, them projecting, you know, their sexual assault and, you know, their fake, you know, approach to healing sexual assault. Arresting us is a failed approach to healing sexual assault. Hollywood elite, dumb shit.
Oh man, totally correct. Yeah, I wonder how they would have felt after they were sexually assaulted, to be immediately put in handcuffs and taken to a dirty place with strangers all around and put into a cell and then, you know, treated like a piece of shit. You know, I wonder how that would have gone over, you know, with them.
And the trial is public.
They were sexually assaulted, and they were treated like a piece of shit in their industry, and they suffered economically as a result of it. Obviously, that's why many of them turn their sights onto us. You know, us who even have less power. You know, to project their sexual assault and their fake, you know, approach about how to deal with that onto us. And you know, they need to take responsibility for themselves, and they need to do some reparations to our community for all the damage that they have done, that they've gotten away with doing. You know, because they're famous. They get to go in front of the U.S. Congress and the state legislature and, you know, have all this power that we don't have. We don't have any power. We go to the state legislature. We went and protested at the governor's office last year. Tried to get the governor.
I'm recording. George is like wanting to say something, and I'm like, shut up.
Okay, George can say something.
What were you going to say, George?
But it's okay for them to exploit you guys, you know, for their own personal agendas, right? I mean, they justify it that way. You know, when they have power, they have privilege, they have upper hand.
Yeah, that's what she was just saying.
Yeah. Well, I get it.
But those Hollywood women, you know, have been exploiting us. You know, they've been totally exploiting us because we don't have any voice, and they've been using us, you know, trying to take over, you know, our narrative when we've been struggling to have our own voice. You know, they go and, you know, misrepresent us to, you know, the public in their little fake, you know, shitty movies where they imagine us, you know, imagine our lives without our permission. And it promotes stigma against us, and they exploit us when they go and misrepresent us to the, you know, state legislators. I mean, it's horrible what those women have done. And, you know, to say that they're just a bunch of sexual assault victims that haven't, you know, healed themselves, it's just, that's not enough. They need healing, but part of that healing has to be take responsibility for the damage that they did with their misappropriation of our lives.
Yeah, and it's like there are so many actresses too who have, you know, I guarantee you every single one of these anti-trafficking spokespersons is on that list with the hashtag TIMESUP. You know, Jada Smith, Sarah Jessica Parker. What?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure they all are.
Kathy,
you know,
Ireland.
Misrepresenting us under the guise of saving sex.
Mira. Her name was Mira.
Oh, yeah. I knew it began with an M.
Yeah, it's Mira. She used to be Mira Sorvino. Mira Sorvino. Yes, Mira Sorvino. She's the one, Trade of Innocence. a movie about young girls trafficked for the purpose of sexual exploitation. And it was...
I mean, what a sick way for a sexual assault victim to try to work out healing themselves and regaining their power from being sexually harassed and assaulted by exploiting another group of women. I mean, how sick is that?
Maxine, that's what a lot, I mean, the majority, that's how I've seen a lot of these, what our wonderful Norma Jean Almodovar calls the victim pimps, you know, that bring these victims out and pimp them in front of legislatures to give their sob stories to get the legislation passed that, you know, harms our community. You know, a lot of them claimed, you know, that they had been sexually assaulted, right? And there they are, that projecting their trauma on all of the rest of us. And I've always thought, I mean, like that chick who runs that nonprofit down in Houston, Elijah Rising, who got so upset because of that one little video I made. You know, she sat there in the video, and I was abused as a, you know, young girl. And this is, she said it. She said, this is how my healing comes from the work I do with these prostitutes. But, you know, nobody ever asked the prostitutes what they thought, you know.
Oh, my fucking God. So, wait a minute now, Elle. So now, Elle, we're now responsible for healing other women's sexual assaults, and we're supposed to be responsible to keep men from sexually assaulting women. I mean, how much power do I actually have here? I'm supposed to do all this from a criminalized place, a place of economic disempowerment and social ostracization. I mean, it's not mature thinking. That kind of thinking is immature thinking, and it needs to stop. And, you know, those Hollywood elite women need to grow up, and they need to take some responsibility for the damage that they have done to our community.
Yeah. And
they need
to
a
fund, litigate to emancipate. Put some money right on in there to help us fight for equal protection under law.
Yeah, they need to donate to our nonprofit. Not to some other suck-ass nonprofit that's doing nothing.
Like, it was some, where is it? I want to find you the name of it. The National Women's Law Center out of D.C. Have you ever heard of them? That is, the fund is associated with them.
Yeah, they're a piece of shit, too. You know, we actually used them, and Tara used them in Alaska to do something for us. And they knew they had to do it to help us pass whatever legislation that we got passed last year, because they have done so much damage to us. You know, they've been at the forefront of all the false and misleading narratives, and they have been instrumental in passing all these bad laws that have resulted from police, you know, getting further access to have sex with us with impunity under the guise of rescuing us. Yeah, where is the elite women of this nation? You know, when we have the Alaska State Troopers and the Anchorage Police Department making public statements that, oh yeah, they have to have sex with us in order to arrest us. Mm-hmm. I mean, they made that statement publicly with impunity because there's not going to be any repercussions on them for having that kind of sex under false pretenses. Mm-hmm. That's called state-sponsored rape. And those women who helped get those anti-prostitution laws, those anti-sex trafficking laws passed are responsible for that rape. Mm-hmm. They're responsible for those sexual assaults. And they need to take responsibility for it. They need to disavow their false and misleading information that they have been a part of for the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. And they need to make some real reparations. I want a public and of acknowledging the damage that they've done to us.
Boy, that would be amazing.
Yeah. That's what they need to do first on your timeout hashtag, bitch.
Yeah.
because there's not going to be any healing for them. They can hashtag time whatever bullshit they want. There's not going to be any healing for them until they've taken responsibility for what they've done.
Check out this. Reese Witherspoon. We're finally hearing each other and seeing each other and now locking arms in solidarity with each other. And in solidarity for every woman who doesn't feel seen to be finally heard.
Reese, bitch, I don't need you to fucking lock arms and have any sort of voice over me or anybody else that I know. Take responsibility for your own shit, Reese. Take some responsibility for your own fucking, Hollywood bullshit that you've been running on the Horn Nation and making money off of our stigmatized images for decades. That's what you need to do, Reese, honey.
This is another one of their kind of, manifestos. We seek equal representation, opportunities, benefits, and pay for all women workers, not to mention greater representation of women of color, immigrant women, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender women whose experiences in the workforce are often significantly worse than their white, cisgender, straight peers.
Whoever said that is so full of shit. SAG, the Screen Actors Guild of America, those people had the opportunity to enfranchise the adult film performers when there was a famous case here in California that made it so that adult film performing was no longer criminalized. And so, the union down there in Hollywood Actors Union had the opportunity to enfranchise the adult film performers, and they didn't. Okay? They didn't do it. So instead of pie in the sky statement about, using people of color and LGBT people, why don't you put your real money where your mouth is and share your union benefits with other unorganized workers? Why don't you get off your fucking ass and get some organizing skill and have a real impact on America and a real impact on women's wages and women's rights to be protected on our jobs? I mean, it's just ridiculous. That statement is ridiculous, stupid, talking points. We all recognize the blah blah for what it is. I mean, it's beyond stupid. That statement is ridiculous. It's worthless.
Just reading through, we want all survivors of sexual harassment everywhere to be heard and to be believed and to know that accountability is possible. We'll try.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. That's a fucking lie. That's some fucking bullshit lie right there. Because you've been stepping on our voices, Hollywood elite lady actors, for a long motherfucking time. And you haven't got off yet. You're still getting off and getting paid on our ass, on stigmatizing, promoting stigma, false and misleading narratives on our ass. And you need to shut the fuck up, dumb bitch. Oh my God. I gotta have a drink of this tea right now. I got my ginger lemon tea.
Time's up, they say. Time's up on silence. Time's up on waiting. Time's up on tolerating discrimination, harassment, and abuse. Time's up. I say time's up on their bullshit.
Yeah, time's up on you, Hollywood elite dumb bitches. God, you're the biggest bunch of dumb bitches I have ever seen on the face of the earth. I know, I don't own a TV. I'm not paying for that garbage. Oh my God. I stopped paying for that garbage years ago. So horrible.
We write on behalf of the 300 women who work in film, television, and theater. A little more than 2 months ago, courageous individuals revealed the dark truth of ongoing sexual harassment and assault by powerful people in the entertainment industry. At one of our most difficult and vulnerable moments, Alanzia, I cannot pronounce her name, the National Farm Worker Women's Alliance, sent us a powerful and compassionate message of solidarity. But anyway, I just find it...
Here, I got a message of solidarity for you too, sister in Hollywood. Oh, fuck yourself.
But, the dark truth, we can tell you about some dark truths. truths that they have been greatly instrumental in keeping in the dark. And also, they're the machines, part of the machinery that has created this environment of abuse that is, people like us, we they've got power and money and just railroad right over us in the name of saving us. So I just think, I like your solidarity symbol. The solidarity symbol.
Solidarity.
Double solidarity.
Solidarity symbol for those Hollywood elite dumb bitches. Double fuck you. Double fuck off. Ugh. So vile. They are so vile.
And that one, I can never pronounce her name, Gyllenhaal, who was in the Deuce show. I mean, she made the comment that I guess her research for that role or whatever, and being in the role helped her to have a greater empathy for sex workers, but yeah, let's see, she signed on to the TIMESUP thing, let's see these people who say that they understand, put their money where their mouths are and give us some real support, signal boosting our cause, our movement.
Yeah, our unionization. Yeah.
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 So, well, it should get more interesting, as I think that hashtag is just starting out. It's just getting going. Actually, today was the first day for it. It was, unveiled today for the new year. 2018 is the year of the, I guess, calling men out for their abuses and women's rights.
Well, this is part of the problem here with them calling men out. And, it's just all the subsequent articles. Like, there was a bunch of shaming articles that were written on the activity that Harvey Weinstein was doing, like, the masturbating in front of women, and then demonizing that activity. It's how rape is being demonized as, the catch-all sex act, that all intercourse is rape. And, it's just part of that immature inability of the people who are making or trying to make some discussion here, but from a really immature place. And just to see it go off on to some of these side tangents is just inappropriate. And it doesn't do anything to address the problems in our society about where the enforcement lacks, because all these women who are complaining, Elle, they all have recourse. They are unionized women.
Yeah.
They all have ability to have some recourse legally, criminally, civilly. And what do we have, Elle? We don't have any of that.
No. We get arrested if we go and report.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cops that are having sex with us under the guise of investigating us, get to, they get the old pat on the back.
Rewarded.
Yeah. And so, they need to really get into a much higher place of reality, and they need to think about what's a more mature place to have a discussion, because they are not mature enough, obviously, to even be having this discussion when they're putting out those talking points. I mean, it's just ridiculous, those talking points. When we get, decriminalization, and we're going to get that, and we're going to have our Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we're going to get our anti-discrimination legislation in place so that all the people in prostitution, people who've worked in prostitution in all different forms, the adult industry, all of our lovers, our husbands, our wives, our kids, our family members, our friends, are going to get to come forward too and talk about what criminalization has done to us and how it's impacted our lives. All this fake sex trafficking legislation, what it's done to us. And then we're going to really get a good look, a broader look at where the problems are. I mean, these women don't have this barrier. They can go have their own Truth and Reconciliation Commission right now if they wanted to.
Oh yeah.
We can't even get to that place yet.
No, they're kind of doing it in the public arena.
Yeah.
You know, with all their bitching, you know, about what they, you know, say has happened to them. You know?
Yeah, but they're not doing it in any sort of way that brings those voices together to talk about where the big problems are. You know, just that's what I mean. Just this men blaming thing, or this one particular sexual conduct, you know, thing. That's just so short-sighted to me. You know, that's not really talking about the larger problems of, you know, the exhibited male entitlement. It doesn't get to the larger problems of men own everything. Men have all the money. Not only in the Hollywood, in the oil industry, in every other industry. So to think that you're going to impact all these industries without taking on some systemic changes, it's just ridiculous. I mean, the California State Legislature last year passed a law that said women have to have equal pay for men. Great. But that means women in the state of California have had 100 to 200 years of unequal pay. That we've had 200 years of unequal pay as low-wage earners. So when we go to retire, we're going to have less money to retire on than our male counterparts. Now, did the state of California make any provisions to backfill that problem so that, you know, a whole bunch of women don't have to continue to live in poverty who've retired already? Nope. Those are the types of reparations I'm talking about. I want some real tangible reparations. And so for this group of Hollywood elite women to be locking arms and not addressing the real problems that real women have today, it's just part of the class divide. You know, they're just in their own little echo chamber, having their own little conversations, and we're all expected to clap. You know, we need some real systemic changes that bring some real reparations to women in this country. You know, if you're going to continue on with the charade of elected politics, then, you know, it's got to be, you know, at least 50% women. If you can't elect 50% women, then you can't convene your session. You know, if access to, you know, healthcare that includes abortion on demand, fuck off. Nobody gets any healthcare. You know, we need some real reparations here. Women need way more help in transportation. Women have less access to transportation, be it public or private transportation. I mean, we could go on and on and on. There are some real places. You know, there's a fight over childcare, over paying for childcare. How can that even be a fight? It's ridiculous. Women have to pay the same tuition at university that men do? No, women should not have to pay the same as men. Women are asked to pay the same property taxes as men? No, women should not be paying the same property taxes as men. Women should be paying less because we are at far more of a disadvantage economically. And I don't see any of these Hollywood elite women, you know, talking anything about anything like that. They're idiots.